So, as usual, we are not getting an honest perspective from the media. And it's not even close. Okay? They don't know, they don't care to know if Trump did it, it's bad. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So, Friday, in Bergenstock, Switzerland, I've actually been there. It's a little town close to Lucerne, beautiful. There's going to be a signature deal taking place between the USA and Iran. What's important here is not just the deal, as President Trump would put it, but Israel is out. And that could cause major trouble down the road. So Israel wants the ability to defend itself against Hamas and Hezbollah. If they send rockets in, Israel wants to shoot back. And so Netanyahu says, we're not going to sign on to this. The problem is, once Israel shoots back, the Iranians may say, probably will say, oh, that blows the treaty up. You know, the treaty doesn't matter anymore because Israel violated it or something. That's a key. Okay, keep that in mind. And that's one of the reasons that the president didn't put forth the text of the arrangement, because he's still working on Israel to try to get them on board. Did you hear that anywhere else? You did not. Okay? Obviously, you know I have unique access to President Trump. I know what's going on here. And I'm not 100% behind this. I'm not, because there are a lot of loopholes in this. But you're not getting close to the truth by the American media. So the president says he's going to hold a news conference and word by word go over the deal. And I assume that will happen Thursday, Wednesday. He's coming back to the United States from Europe on Wednesday. He may want to have that press conference here, but I don't know for sure. All right? But he's promised that he'll have a press conference. He'll answer all the questions. The questions will all be contentious. They're not going to be informational. It's going to be you said, you did, you said, you did. And how much of that President Trump's going to be able to take, I'm not sure. Okay. So on Iran, they're portraying this as a big win. So tomorrow we won this now. That's how they're selling it to the world, their own people as well. Okay. I got to see the text. I can't analyze this until I see what's in there. Right? So these morons and their dishonest charlatans yesterday that were objecting to everything, they haven't seen it yet, just appalling. Now, oil prices continue to drop, which President Trump needs for the midterm elections. Stock market continues to surge. We'll get to the stock market a little later on. I'm going to scold the people who are not participating in our capitalist society. So the scolding is coming up in this broadcast. So today, Tuesday, June 16th, the president is meeting and schmoozing with all the G7 leaders and others. And they've been very supportive of Mr. Trump. And it's easy to figure out why. They did nothing. So in Europe and countries in Asia, they get the benefit of anything that constrains the mullahs without doing a thing. We did it all, like we always do. All right, let's run it down. So Great Britain is the number one ally for us, even though it's chaos. And before the president began meeting with Great Britain and France and the others, he wanted to put to bed some controversy. Roll that tape.
We have a deal that's a fair deal. It's a good deal. We are not investing any money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday. It was ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if I want to do something or somebody wants to do something, but we are not investing any money. We have no obligation to invest any money in Iran.
All right, so that knocks out all the reporting from Monday night. If you watch it on television, you're wasting your time, but they're 300 million, they're this, they're that, whatever. Okay, let's start with Starmer of Great Britain. Go.
I want first to welcome the breakthrough reached last night between the US and Iran. And I congratulate President Trump, the mediators from Pakistan and Qatar, and all those involved. This is a hugely significant moment.
Okay, remember, before the treaty was announced, the American media said it was no good. But there's Starmer, and Starmer's got his own intel service, okay, saying it's great, great. Here's Macron of France. Go.
I think yesterday was signed a very important agreement, a peace deal with Iran. And it's a very important one because first it will fix the nuclear issue. And it's a very important matter for peace for the whole world.
That's a bit optimistic. The mullahs could violate this deal at any time, and there's a likelihood they will. Okay. Then the Chancellor of Germany, perhaps NATO's weakest major country, said this, Friedrich Merz, quote, I welcome the agreement with the U.S. and Iran and congratulate President Trump and the Iranian side on this diplomatic breakthrough. This can pave the way towards a reinvigorated global economy and more secure Middle East. It is crucial to implement it with determination. Okay. Remember that Merz was critical of the deal. He didn't want to help, and he didn't help. And here's a full screen that you'll read where all the governments got together in Europe, the G7 people, and said this. We warmly welcome the announcement of the memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran. Congratulate the United States, the Iranian government, and all involved, including Pakistan, Qatar, and all other mediators on this diplomatic breakthrough. Okay, so it's across the board. Trump's a good guy. This is a smart deal in Europe. Not in the American media. Roll that.
But this time around, the one thing that both sides agree on is that the 1.5-page memorandum of understanding does nothing to stop Iran from gaining a nuclear weapon.
Okay, so you killed all of those 40 leaders, but now the IRGC is in charge. Okay, so that's who we're dealing with, and that's who we're supposed to stand next to on Friday and sign an agreement that nobody's seen or read, except for this is the most transparent administration history, but we can't read it. Like I could make all of those points.
Donald Trump now has a secret deal, he says, to end the war in Iran, and that deal, if it exists, is apparently so humiliating to Donald Trump that he's keeping it secret.
That's not why he's keeping it secret. He wants to get Israel on board and iron out some of the last minute texts in the deal. So, you're never going to get the truth from any of those people. Okay, they're not in business to tell you the truth. They're in business to tell you what their management tells them to say. Okay. Now, last night I was on Leland Vittert on News Nation. Chris Cuomo came on before me and was harping on the same thing. Why can't I see the deal? Why can't I see the deal? Why can't I see? It's a mantra. Why? Here's what I told Vittert. Go.
What is the fairest way to judge what the administration has put out and what the Iranians have said?
You can't judge it now because you don't have the facts. So I don't know whether you saw our friend Chris Cuomo demanding to know 48 hours after the deal was announced by President Trump, what exactly is in it. Who would do that? Who would do that? Who would give critics of the deal and the opposition, the mullahs, 5 days to go dissemble the deal? What kind of a moron would do that? And I'm not calling Cuomo a moron. I'm just saying it doesn't matter. If Friday is D-Day, if Friday the deal is signed or not, then we'll all know. But it's not like we're voting on a referendum on this deal. All right, so I think I made my point pretty clear here, that the way to negotiate a very complex situation is to be methodical, all right? And you don't give the enemy any quarter. Okay, you don't give them a chance to nitpick or do whatever they might do. And that's the memo.